Osiris.
What's going on? Hi, everybody. Hi, it's Karina Rykman, and we're back, baby. We are back with another episode of Inappropriate Happiness, and I am joined, as always, by my compadre, my mainest dude. He's on the mic. He knows how to spit it right. This is my man, Isaac Slone. How you doing?
Karina, you look different.
Yo! What do I look like?
You look like you played the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado.
I knew it changed my DNA. I didn't know that it changed my appearance. That's good. That's good. I like it.
We're currently sitting in the living room with the lights off, but I can tell
you
have a glow about you from having accomplished this amazing moment in your career. Congratulations.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. Feels great. Feels surreal. It's one of those things that you can't believe happened, but that just happened, you know?
Tell me about it.
My soul left my body, baby. No, it was so next level. It was, you know, I'm very lucky to say I've had a lot of good days in my life, but this was probably the best one. I don't know what could have been better. It was one of those days where everything worked out perfectly. Everybody was so nice, happy to be there, convivial atmosphere. My band killing it, all girlfriends, boyfriends, extended family, you know, my producer Gabe was there. Like, it was just one of those things where we rolled real deep and we were so just overwhelmed with gratitude and joy to get to play a place I never thought I would ever play, and to get to be there and all that shit. And, you know, the infamous String Dusters, for whom I opened, maybe the nicest group of dudes.
That's so good to hear.
Really, just, you know, there's absolutely no reason that anybody should ever procure 300 oysters for me before a show.
Oh.
But they did. And they got me a customized oyster shucker that had my name on it, engraved within it, and then on the other side it had Red Rocks Amphitheater and the date.
That's so cool. They did that for you.
They did that quite literally for me. They're completely uncalled for. Who does this? It's one of those things, like, you know, I'm not worthy moments, you know, where you're just like, why are you guys this so crazy? Like, what? And so we ate copious amounts of oysters, 300 of them actually, before the gig, which I know most people, I know you're listening, you're saying, Karina, Rocky Mountain oysters, ish, do not think so. What are you thinking, girl? Before your big gig? What? But you know what? I had 3 cookies and about 100 oysters, and I never felt better, baby. I was good to go. And that's a lunch of champions when you play the Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater.
And I watched from the stream at home, thanks to nugs.net, and I just want to ask about the Polka Dot Pants.
Dude, new vibe.
New vibe.
I purchased them on a website I've recently found out about called Poshmark, where I believe this is where people sell things they already own. Much like eBay, but for couture, if you will. And these are by a company called Paige, Paige. Shout out to Paige. And I just, you know, I love polka dots. I love polka dots and I love stripes. I have a problem with polka dots and stripes. And I love lightning bolts, Grateful Dead or otherwise. I'm always looking, like, if I see something with a dot, a stripe, or a bolt on it, it immediately appeals to me. And drippy shit. I like drippy, colorful vibes as well. Anyway, I found these on the internet because I have multiple polka dot shirts, and I was like, you know what would be crazy? Karina, polka dot pants. As my parents would say, this isn't the university. Here you have to think. And I went online and procured these bad boys just in time for the gig, and it just all seemed right. It all seemed right. So, you know, it's hard. It's hard to figure it out when you don't have a stylist. Where's my stylist at? You know, that's the next question. But it was a polka dot afternoon. We were out there jumping around. Had to figure out what shoes I was going to wear. I chose the gold ones. Felt golden. And And yeah, looking up, like, looking up at that crowd is just like being on a roller coaster because it just like looks like it goes up, 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 up. Like, whoa, freaky deaky shit, And I was so overwhelmed. It was absolutely next level. I would have never like dreamed that shit up.
Well, it completely translated beautifully to the 4K television.
Oh my God.
I loved watching the set. It was, I hadn't seen like a full set in a while. I've seen clips and heard bits and pieces, but I was totally riveted by the hour you put together.
Thanks.
Sounded amazing. Your friends, Adam November and Chris Corsico on the guitar and drums, respectively.
Yeah.
Thank you. They also are very respectful in their playing.
Sure.
So respectfully and respectively.
And bombastically.
Yeah.
Frenetic energy. The punk funk. The complete lunacy. On display at the Rocks for all of the bluegrass moms. But God bless them. I think they enjoyed it. It was a wild pairing, and like somehow it all works out, and I was very lucky to share the stage with the String Dusters and the California Honey Drops for their encore, where we played I Shall Be Released, of course, by the band. And then we played the infamous String Dusters original Rise, Sun, where I took it upon myself to, nobody said I had to sing, but oh baby, I learned this tune.
You got to sing it?
Oh, I got up there. Yeah, I mean, I sang the choruses with them, and that was just fun as hell. Just like getting up on the front lines with the String Dusters, looking up at a packed Red Rocks in the dark. Like when I played, the sun was still, setting, but out. It was, one of those. But there, I was looking out. The lights were crazy. The people were going ham, and we're playing some bluegrass, man. We were out there playing some bluegrass. It was a wild, wild feeling.
Well, it is amazing to cap off this Red Rocks story. I think we've taken listeners through the announcement, the anticipation, and it just seems like it all went so beautifully. Oof. I imagine Red Rocks will make a few more appearances in your future, in the future of this podcast, and
shout out Red Rocks, man. And then the
really
day,
cool
the next day,
place.
Yeah, right.
Cool place.
Definition cool place. The day after, my friends and Pigeons Playing Ping Pong played along with the Motet, featuring Billy Martin, which is a cool bill, and all the Pigeons came to my gig, which was so sweet of them. And so it was great to see all of them and to see Brett, their tour manager, who I just adore. Shout out Brett. And it was just such a sweet, joining of the people, And then they played the following night, and then there was Chromeo the next night, and then Black Bear played. Like they've had some sweet shows, man.
Summer season in full swing.
Unbelievable place. And we can now stop talking about it. Close the book on this chapter, but it was everything I ever could have ever expect. I had no expectations, but it exceeded anything that I could have ever conceived of, and a lot in part to the infamous String Dusters for being just that cool. You know what I mean? When you are a band and you're playing with other bands, you never know what you're gonna get. I know those guys, but like you don't know, like maybe they wouldn't have been as warm and welcoming and kind and inviting, but they were, and they got me 300 oysters. Like, what is wrong with them? Bless their souls. So much thanks to those guys for having me in the band and just being so, like, creating an atmosphere you just want to soak up for the rest of your life. So,
well, I mean, that generosity and hospitality, that is so much a part of this scene.
Big time.
And goes such a long way.
Oh.
I mean, I can only imagine. I experienced it as a fan, but as a musician, it must just be totally,
it's what you want.
It's what you want. I don't know. Is that a loss for words?
No, it's everything. So, yeah, when you're doing something like playing music, and going from town to town and creating, it's all just moments, right? You're just creating moments with other people, and they're all just dates on calendars. Man, the least you can do is create a vibe that is delightful, and they really have, much like Pigeons Playing Ping Pong did for me all spring long on tour, and I really appreciate it when that's the case. And man, I, come hell or high water, I will create that for people who open for me too. And it goes such a long way. And as a fan too, you're absolutely right. In our scene, people are kind, they're nice, they're always lending a helping hand and like wanting to hook you up with a ticket or like get you into the show or whatever it might be. Like it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
And speaking of your polka dot pants from Paige.
Yes, sir.
Paige McConnell.
Oh!
was joined by his fellow band members.
Killed that.
Mike Gordon, Trey Anastasio, and John Fishman to form the group Phish.
Dude.
Which began their, 8-night spring tour.
Sure.
In Orange Beach, Alabama, at the Wharf Amphitheater this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Then they took a night off.
And are in Charleston, South Carolina, Credit One Stadium, played last night, and they will play again tonight.
Exactly. And then they're off to Deer Creek.
For
the
3
legendary
nights this weekend.
Yep.
The legendary Deer Creek. I've never been there.
Never been there either.
But I've heard many a show from there.
Certainly. And they just play really well there.
Yes.
Allegedly. You
definitely.
know? And people camp there, correct? Like that's like it's like a whole vibe,
Totally.
Like you go and you're like, yo, let's settle into Deer Creek, which is fantastic. But I mean, we mentioned this before, but how exciting that Phish played shows in April. They're playing, or played rather, shows in May. Here we are, 1st of June. They're playing shows in June, and there will be shows in July, August, and September. We're living in a spectacular time to be a Phish fan, Isaac.
It's so cool that they decided to sneak in some spring shows and play this little jaunt. And even though I can't make any of the shows, maybe we'll stream a little Charleston this evening.
Love to see it.
It's an early ticket time. They're over by like 10:30.
Ah,
they go in pretty early.
Great for the parents. Let me tell you.
Great for the parents.
The parents will be dead asleep by midnight. Little Johnny will be waking you up at 6 a.m. Oh God, maybe earlier. Anyway, yeah, it's fantastic. It is really great. A lot of things coming out about last night, aka night 1 Charleston's show. And the thing I'm seeing, Isaac, as trying to keep my ear to the ground as much as possible here, people seem to the rip-cording of a jam to go back into a chorus seems to be at the forefront of people's dialogues here. What do you think about that, just generally speaking? Does it bother you? Are you here for it? To me, not going to lie to you, every show's a blessing. So some that I like more, some that I like less, it's all gravy to me. I feel very much like one of those people who, call them fluffers or otherwise. I'm happy to exist in the same time as this band. I can't believe this band is playing as much as they are. And we get to take part in it in so many different ways. Even just sitting on our couch and talking about it is incredible to me.
No, I completely agree. And I mean, we do need to give credit where credit is due. They started the show with a 23-minute Set Your Soul Free. Yeah. And I don't know of many show openers jams, that exceed the 20-minute mark. I don't know how many of those there have been in history or in 3.0, recent shows from 2009 on. But I think that's really very cool.
It's a good foot forward.
It's a very good foot forward. And, in terms of the ripcording or the cutting jams short, I mean, again, I have to think about it from both the fan experience and the performer experience. If you're trying to get something going,
sure,
on an improvisational level, and you're not feeling it, what are you supposed to do?
And your name's Trey, and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
And you really call the shots in terms of, I mean, the whole band certainly does, but I think. There is something to be said for saying, look, we're not going to try to push this or just do it for the sake of it. And I know that's probably a hot take. I think a lot of people would disagree with me there.
Maybe they would. And that's okay. To me, when we talk about this band and when we talk about improvisational music in general, there's such a level of risk-taking that isn't present in so much music that is just by the books, scripted. You have your 75-minute set. You're going to play it exactly the same way every single night. And by the way, love that. Totally here for that all day long. But you're Phish. You built your entire career on, expect the unexpected, and they're going to be out there, these 4 dudes who just lean on each other creatively in different and exciting, weird ways all the time. There are going to be things that are rough, and there are going to be landings that are not what you expected, and landings that, if you're like an analytical whatever, being like, oh man, I really suffered there, like, uh-oh. That's the price you pay for those magical moments where everything congeals and it feels like you're flying,
Totally.
So that's sort of how I conceive of it. And I like things that are rough around the edges. I hate things that are too polished.
Well, I have to say, this is actually really bringing me back to going to see Phish in 2009 on the first summer tour I went on, because, when I first got into it, the Nugs thing would offer, lossless audio and HD audio. And I got kind of into the gear component. Like, I bought nice headphones and I downloaded everything in the highest quality I could and listened really critically. And then I got to Lot in Camden, and somebody was listening to a David Bowie jam on like the crappiest speaker I've ever seen in my David Bowie, the Phish song, and the crappiest speaker I've ever seen in my life. And it sounded better than my high fidelity setup.
Sure.
And I was like, how does he get it to sound that good? And I realized these people were just enjoying the music, and that's what made it sound so good.
Right.
Like they were just vibing and not getting too analytic about it, and just what served the moment. That's the speaker they had. That's how they were rocking it.
100%. And that's such a metaphor for life, in my opinion, and the way I tend to conduct myself and enjoy things, and just like not overthink and just be completely present in a moment of fuck yeah ness.
Totally.
And that dude busting out that Bowie was definitely present in a moment of fuck yeah-ness, not going, oh man, it was not downloaded in the OGG Vorbis format that I really intended, and it didn't get placed on my beautiful little U2 edition iPod, like, remember the U2 edition of the iPod?
I do, and the red
and
edition,
black?
Yeah, the red and black.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's so many different ways to enjoy things, and some people obviously do it in that way, and that's fucking awesome. I don't know, to me it's just like, fucking rock and roll is meant to be dirty. It's meant to be felt. It's not meant to be, you have to feel it. It's just vibe, drenched in vibe,
But if we are going to be analytic for a moment,
please.
It does seem like they are starting off each show with a big, nice jam.
Right.
We got Twist the first night. We got a 19-minute Sigma Oasis the second night. We got a 13-minute Character Zero the third night. I mean, that's really great for me. I'm
is
good
great
with that. Sounds awesome. Beautiful Mike song. We got a great Free on night 2 in a Wharf at the Wharf Amphitheater. It seems like the second set on the first night, Little Soul Planet, Quadraphonic Toppling. Are you seeing this? A lot of people debating whether or not they played it, if it was a tease.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either.
I wouldn't know either.
I'm not going to lie to you. But it is appearing on set lists. Certainly.
It's appearing on set lists. It's not appearing on set lists.
Sure.
People have a lot of feelings.
Totally. All valid.
Let us know where you stand on the quadraphonic toppling.
Yeah, send us an email.
Send us an email. If you see us on summer tour.
Exactly.
We want to know.
Oh, man. And so this weekend's Deer Creek, we're very excited. I just look forward to like streaming these guys and like actually being like,
And it'll be on Sirius XM as well on Phish Radio.
Totally, which is awesome. And you know what's cool about Charleston is the size of the venue. Very small. Very small.
It's like a tennis stadium. It looks like a tennis stadium.
It's small,
for
sure. So that's awesome. And we salute everyone who is down there right now raging Charleston. I love Charleston. Shout out to Charleston. Number one thing you got to do when you get to Charleston, you go to one of two restaurants. You're going to Chubby Fish or you're going to 167 Raw. And let me shout out my man Gordon, the chef at 167. And let me shout out my other man, James London, chef at Chubby Fish. Man, these people are good times enablers via raw fish. And nothing I like more than raw fish in a show, baby. Let's go. Seems absolutely delightful.
Well, speaking of raw rock and roll music, another band we love was also playing in Alabama this weekend, Widespread Panic, christening the Orion Amphitheater in Huntsville, Alabama, right at the NASA space station location, right?
Talk about fucking space is the place and time traveling and space trucking and live in the moonshine. What is it? Live in the
moon time.
That's what I meant.
Live in the moonshine is a whole other vibe.
Oh, sure is.
Which I'm sure a few people on Panic Tour probably live in the moonshine.
You gotta live the moon time and the moonshine if you're really doing it right.
But anyway, on Friday, May 27th, John Bell walked on stage and said, "Hello, new place."
Ow!
And launched right into Keep on Rockin' in the Free World. Do. Neil Young. We love Neil Young. This is a poignant opener for a lot of reasons, and a great version, and there's a lot of meaning there. We don't need to get into it, but it's a beautiful thing that they open with this song.
100%.
And it seems like they really gave Huntsville their all in the christening of this new venue, and across the 3 nights played a lot of raw rock and roll music for the people.
Man, I would have loved, dude. I'm kind of ready to see a little Widespread Panic. I'm not gonna lie to you, Isaac.
Maybe you'll catch them at the Beacon this July with me for a night or two.
Let's go.
We'll see.
Oh my God, I'm ready. I'm really ready.
But they have played over 100 shows in Alabama, where I think Phish has played around 11.
Damn.
So this is certainly their territory.
It's kind of great to have both down there at the same time, right? What would you even? I mean, it's a hypothetical right there, but I don't know. For us northeastern nerdy Phish fans, it's a difficult question. But also, I know, especially you, we are, pretty tethered to the Panic. These
days.
I mean,
I don't know what it is these days.
It's
so tethered to the Panic.
It's visceral. That's what it is.
It is.
There's something visceral about it.
Absolutely.
It's John.
Memorial Day.
Yes, sir.
I guess they play. It was a Never Miss a Sunday show, but in honor of Memorial Day, they played a show in which they honored many people who have contributed to the Widespread Panic catalog over the years who have passed on, like Colonel Bruce Hampton, like Mikey Hauser, like the original drummer Todd Nance.
Wow.
I think that's it's a subtle way, because you're hearing all of these songs that you love. It's not hitting people over the head by saying, this is a memorial tribute to those who've passed on. But if you look closely at the set list and who wrote those songs, they're really shouting out all of the people that have made them Widespread Panic over the years, with a fitting Sunday show for the Memorial Day weekend.
Dude, and they are obviously the arbiters of Never Miss a Sunday show, and we love that. For them, for us, for the entire community, we love to say it, and I love when it rings true in, these very amazing shows that happen to take place on Sundays.
And it's very cool that it hasn't gotten stale. You could see them sort of hyping up Never Miss a Sunday show, and then it becomes like, what's the theme? Or, like a little like, all right, how much can we really do with this? But they do find a way to keep it really fresh.
Oh, man.
And I admire that.
I do too. It's incredible, honestly. And like you say, with Todd and with Mikey and Colonel Bruce, so many people. It's so amazing, and it really does take a village, and it goes to show that, so many people come, people go, but their marks are always, indelible. And it's kind of an amazing thing. Especially in the life and career of Widespread motherfucking Panic. Like, let's go. What an amazing career. So many people who have touched the band. Jerry Joseph, what I mean?
Joseph.
Like, that comes to mind. Like,
totally.
Ridiculous. And just, I'm a huge Jimmy Herring fan too. The way Jimmy and Mikey, their different takes, They're different touches. It's incredible. And, you know, it's just great. It's great for us.
It's about keeping a particular spirit alive through music.
Which they have.
Which they really have. And it does seem as though a couple of the crew went to the Saturn Hall in Huntsville, which is a place to go see rockets, and ended up chatting with Lowell Zoller, who worked directly on the first Saturn launches. And they invited him to the show, and he said that him and his wife Betty hadn't been to a show in almost 50 years. They hadn't gone to see live music. I can't even imagine, but that's something. And he took great interest in the sound and the light tech, and said that Dave's bass put him strongly in mind of a Saturn launch, which I think is just a very kind of fitting. I mean, you imagine you haven't gone to see live music in 50 years, and Dave School's bass reminds you of launching rockets to Saturn.
That hits me in a primal way. Just those words. Absolutely. That, oh my God.
I'm showing Karina a picture of these guys at their first show in 50 years.
Dude, these guys are literally everything. Oh
Lowell
my God.
Zoller.
Lowell Zoller. Let's fucking go. I mean, Dave School's bass does remind you of a rocket ship taking off, you know?
Totally.
God,
absolutely.
That's hitting me. That's super hitting me. Well, thrilled for those guys. Thrilled they got to see some live music, and it was that.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
And speaking of bands that have made indelible marks.
Yes, sir.
The band Muse.
Oh, dude.
Will be hitting the road for an intimate run of shows this October in support of their forthcoming album, Will of the People. They will be playing the Will Turn in Los Angeles, the Riviera Theater in Chicago, Illinois, the History Theater in Toronto, and the Beacon Theater here in New York City.
Yo. Everybody knows it. If you listen to Isaac and I, you know we love the Beacon Theater. We literally love it. And man, I love a good old-fashioned underplay at the Beacon. I think this is fantastic. I would like to be in full effect at this.
But let's talk about this. Muse. Why should we care?
Well, I'll tell you, Isaac. Love everything Muse did through 2010. To me, all of those records, phenomenal. Really enjoyed them. Then things sort of went from being, like, first of all, let's shout out Muse as a lover of power trios, a player in power trios. We must acknowledge the fact that Muse is an absolutely ripping power trio. Number one. Number two, to me, as an OG Muse fan, after, when Madness came out, that was sort of a foray into electronic music and a straying from rock and roll that, to me, they sort of sounded like Radiohead, but they sort of had their own thing, and they were sort of more poppy and ripping in different ways, and like really an interesting group when they first started out. And Supermassive Black Hole and Hysteria and all these amazing tunes like were really on point. Anyway, I've seen them a lot since 2010, quite a bit. Like, at the Garden, I've seen them. I've seen them in Long Island and all of the big arenas and whatnot around here, I feel like. And they always put on a fantastic show. Matt Bellamy is the front man and the guitar player. He's an absolute phenom, I will go on record and say. Unbelievable playing and really amazing songwriting, I think, through and through, even if the direction they've gone in the last 12 years hasn't exactly been my cup of tea. Don't matter, because the shows have been spectacular front to start to finish every single time they play the hits. And good for that. You know what? Who am I to say? That's another thing. Who am I to say what direction Muse should go in? Why? Stupid ass me on the couch? Why? I have some sort of grandiose idea of what these guys should be doing? Who? Katrina Rykman? Why? I really, and it's like, can we talk about my disdain for A&Rs for a half a second?
Please, go ahead.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, we're going on a fucking tangent, all right? I have a real bone to pick with people who think that they know better than the artist. Because you know what? and I know I do have, the one thing that maybe separates me in this way, like I know there are plenty of artists out there who don't have a clear vision and who are easily malleable by external folks, people at record labels, A&Rs, whatever it might be, and people get, completely twisted and turned and whatnot into directions that they would have never gone in otherwise. And that's maybe totally fine. But to me, who knows how to be Muse better than Muse? Nobody. It's fucking their thing, And anyway, I have a bit of disdain for A&Rs in general. Sorry to all the A&Rs listening, because I feel like a lot of the time these people think that they know how to be the artist better than the artist themselves. And that doesn't sit well with me, because they have a conception of what's going to make the song quote unquote better. And that can blow me in a huge way. That's
Totally.
Fucked up. I don't care what's going to make the song fucking better. It's my song, or it's your song, or it's this guy. You know what I mean? Like, everything's subjective. That's my end rant. I don't like it.
Well, somebody who would be on your side with this is little Steven Van Zandt from the East Street Band, who, on Twitter, a lot of people will tweet him saying, "Hey, Stevie, when are you coming to play in my city? Why don't you play this song with Bruce?" And he has no time for it.
Sure.
And he also portrays Silvio on The Sopranos, and that's not the kind of guy that you want to make suggestions to.
That's right. Gabagool, motherfucker. Yeah. No. You are absolutely right. And that's, it's less of it's less of setlist choices and whatnot. It's more just like the specific songwriting, like directions and directives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, there are a lot of people at record labels who a band will sign, and then for their next record, a band will come with a full record, right? And they'll say, throw it in the trash. Let's start from fresh, but I'm going to be there every single day telling you what your song's going to sound like. And it's like, well, I get that, but that also vehemently upsets me.
Well, to talk about a band that we want to shout out that
Yes.
does not take suggestions from anyone.
Yes.
Vansire, a group that we love, is hitting the road starting tonight, June 1st, in Chicago at the Beat Kitchen, and they are touring the nation, and we want you to listen to them and to check them out.
Guys, we're big Vansire fans here. Vansire, big fan. It's a gentleman named Josh Augustin. Came out of a Oberlin bedroom. Created music that has touched millions. Crazy.
Check them out,
crazy.
vansiretheband.com.
Check it out, people. Good stuff. Really original, amazing music. We really enjoy it. Yeah, good point. Good stuff, Isaac. Isaac very easily pulled me out of the trenches of absolute ire I was feeling for those who think that they know best when it comes to subjective art. Woo! Feeling crazy. Isaac.
Karina, if on the next episode of the podcast you could maybe tone down the ire, because I think we're going to have to scratch this whole episode. It's not really what the studio wants.
You're so right. And to the studio. Thanks, guys. Thanks for toning down the ire in me. Oh, my God. Isaac, we should wrap a bow on this thing before I go off on A&Rs anymore. But we'd like to shout out our producer, Marlo Shankweiler. We'd like to shout out our main man, Brian Brinkman. We'd like to shout out our other main man, RJB. Everybody over at Osiris, we love you. We love being a part of the Osiris family, the Osiris Media Network. It feels so good. We feel so embraced. It's delightful to be a part of Osiris. And, dude, what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. You have any words of wisdom for the people? Any parting thoughts?
We hope if it's warm where you are, you're staying cool. We hope if it's cold where you are, you get to someplace warm.
Oh.
Stay hydrated.
Get it poppin'. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Short list. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Osiris.